nothing is given to me. You know, people don't even like my own family just found out maybe like a year and a half ago the real reason why I started lifting, why I started powerlifting in the 8th grade.
What was that reason?
Bullied.
When I first started coming up in the industry, you know, I had to learn how to talk and deal with people and, you know, basically turn it on when the camera's in front of you.
Right.
You know, I could have the worst day of my life and I've been the worst mood, but the moment you put me on stage and put a microphone in my hand, you're there for them. And you gotta turn it on because they look up to you in a lot of ways, and they will value the things that come out of your mouth.
That's really, you know, why I do this, you know, for, you know, my daughter and my wife.
Yeah.
You know, they're the driving factor that's what keeps me going.
The closer I came to this competition, the more people started speculating on the idea that I would be competing. Conquering, of achieving, of climbing, of getting higher and higher to the top and all those things. Because that's, in my opinion, what life is all about, is living.
We are just arrived at LAX. Rickey, Moten has just arrived. For those of you guys that don't know Rickey, Rickey is my classic physique pro. He is 3.5 weeks out from his first ever RL Classic in Ohio, which is one of the most prestigious shows, one of the most prestigious bodybuilding shows in the world. And I'm very excited for him. This is my first time bringing him on stage as one of our Team Buendia clients. Another very good opportunity for him to showcase how good he really is. And not only representing Team Buendia, he'll be representing Hair Hero out at the Arnold. So I'm really excited to have him come out here. We're gonna get some awesome training in, some game planning, and really to help this guy, you know, navigate his way through this industry. You know, he's got an amazing physique and so much potential. Now we're just gonna help him tap into it and you know, show him the ways of not only to be successful on stage, but off the stage as well. How many meals do you have so far? Just one?
Oh yeah, just one.
You have red, Rickey? Do you have red? Try tea? No.
This trip meant everything to me. You know, this trip really meant everything to me. You know, I came out here just, you know, like, okay, we're gonna film some content. We're gonna, you know, get some workouts together. But everything that we've done so far, it's far exceeded the expectations that I had. Like, I brought all of my hero clothes that I had to do the shoots in, but then all of a sudden we go to the warehouse and I'm thrown a huge box of clothes, and like all of this will not fit in my suitcase. It won't fit. So I mean, you know, just having that happen and Jeremy looking at me and telling me that I earned this.
This weekend, basically, what I want to do for him coming out here is give him as much insight into, you know, the industry of what he's about to go jump into. You know, jumping into the Arnold after placing as well as he did at New York. Took 4th in New York, his classic debut, against, you know, top 3 guys that were in there are big names, and arguably he could have placed a lot higher. So jumping into Arnold, he's already, you know, top 5, top 6 being predicted right now, which I think we're going to go past that. I think we have a very solid shot top 3. You know, being as of a high level competitor as you are, like, you can really do something with this, especially in the division as young as it is.
So before the public and the third party saw the things that were mapped out in place for Jeremy, it was being done far ahead. So you've almost got to change your end goal, and almost everything that you're doing for your current career and your current results, but you're also planning that end goal is still there. So essentially, in the most unarrogant form I could say, you're planning to be as big as possible and bigger than the industry itself.
You know, how to really take nothing and turn it into something. You know, it wasn't long ago. I was here 2015 January when I moved down here with nothing. I slept on a couch, you know, and 4 or 5 years later, you know, a lot of things have come about.
When you develop a world-class physique, people want to hear from you. They want to hear your experiences. They want to hear what you've done. So it's remembering that there are people that absolutely look up to you and inspire to be you. So when you're in front of a camera and you're like, why am I doing this? You know, this isn't me. You got to think, like, I'm also marketing myself, but I'm giving back to those who really do want it.
I'm so grateful for the sport because it showed me from a young age that in order to get what you want, you have to put in the work. Nothing's going to be handed to you. Right. You know, you can't cheat a diet. You can't cheat a prep because it shows every single thing. Every single time you cheat, it's going to show up the next day. It's going to show up on that stage. You know, whereas in life, you're able to brush up a lot of those fuck ups underneath the rug, and a lot of people can overlook them. In bodybuilding, you know, you can't brush those type of things under the rug, and you know that's why I started really young in bodybuilding, and that's why it instilled this mentality of however I approach whatever is in front of me. You know,
nothing is given to me. You know, people don't even like my own family just found out maybe like a year and a half ago. The real reason why I started lifting, why I started powerlifting in the 8th grade.
What was that reason?
Bully.
I know that sounds crazy. The struggle, to me, anyone who's been through real struggle, you can almost notice anyone that's successful or takes it to extremely high limits. You can almost tell or guess who's been through the struggle. Because they just don't, they operate differently. And that's why you're at where you're at. And so early. Because you've been through way worse. What's gonna stop you now? How is this hard? You know what I mean?
Right.
So what I realize is a lot of people I grew up with, especially that have been through things, they hold on to that. And they go through things in their life and they say, but I've been through this, or this has happened to me, or you don't understand because I've been through this. They want to use it as an excuse rather than a motivation. Struggle, anyone who's been through shit, I feel is at an absolute advantage in life. I truly mean that. If you've been through shit, what now?
Right.
What now? And then it's even a better story, you know?
Like 6th, 7th grade, I actually asked my parents for, you know, a weight set and everything like that. But then I got into powerlifting in the 8th grade. That's really when it truly kicked in. And yeah, a lot of people didn't know. A lot of people that, you know, grew up with, I mean, just different people. You know, a lot of them, they still don't know to this day, and they probably won't until they actually see this and hear this. But I mean, I remember, you know, wearing different kind of jerseys and shirts and everything like that, and you know, just a lot of people would always just, you know, kind of laugh at me and say like, hey man, like where are your muscles? You know, you can't wear that shirt without any muscles and everything like that, because I was an extremely skinny kid growing up. I was extremely skinny. So I mean, it happened, and you know, most people, like I said, they don't know. They never knew about it, but you know, I dealt with it.
How many weeks out are you?
3.5. 3.5 weeks. Still, even when you travel, you still gotta prep your meals.
I I like my chicken deep fried now in my house, now that I'm not competing anymore. Preferred. Fried. I think it's the first time I've eaten ground turkey since Olympia.
Using the apartment gym? You're just using your gym here?
Yeah, we'll go here.
It was 2017. I was doing my pro debut, men's physique, the LA Grand Prix, and I ended up, hearing that he was impressed by me when he seen me on stage, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him at that show, but I did contact him on Instagram and everything, and he responded to me. He gave me some advice.
Pretty exhausted before we went in dumbbell presses. We mixed it up a little bit, do a lot of different variations today. Seeing how full he is, how well he's doing with the food. I just fed him up a little more carbs just now, so it's gonna give me a good assessment for the next 3.5 weeks as we dial him in.
And then we actually met a few weeks later in Pittsburgh. And so we talked backstage, and he told me what I needed to do.
After when we first met, when I saw you on stage competing in men's physique at the Grand Prix in Los Angeles, April 2017. That was the first time I ever saw you on stage. I remember sitting front row with Jerry Potvin, who just took 4th place at his first Olympia, or 3rd place, one of the two. And we're sitting in the front row watching the pros compete. It was an awesome lineup, but I remember watching you come on stage, and both me and Jeremy kind of like nudge each other, like, damn, look at that guy. And you ended up getting last call outs. And I was just laughing, and me and Jeremy were just laughing because you look good, but I could see that you kind of put your head down a little bit towards the end. You got a little discouraged, and you didn't win that show because I thought you were in the wrong division. It was then again in May in Pittsburgh at the Pittsburgh Pro, where he did the men's physique division again. And I remember he came up to me after the show. I didn't get a chance. I was working the booth and bouncing around doing interviews and stuff. So you came up after you got off stage, and I asked you how you did. Yeah. And you told me you got the last call-outs again, right?
Yeah.
And I just kind of laughed at him. And he looked at me, smiling about it a little bit. I was like, "You're in the wrong division, man." And I just told him, I was like, "You have the best physique. You don't get down on yourself, because if I had to choose a physique up on that stage, I would want to look like it would be your physique up there. So you're just in the wrong category."
So he told me to try to go to the East Coast, and because they like bigger guys out there on the East Coast. So that's why I decided to do Pittsburgh, but I still didn't place as well as I wanted. And he was like, "Yeah, man, you're just too big. You need to move up to Classic." So
when I saw him at these shows not doing well in men's physique, I told him to switch. I knew that this wasn't the right division for him, and in order for him to be successful, he needed to go up. And he's so early on in his bodybuilding career. He's not doing a lot of things that these other guys are having to do to get their physiques to that point. And with that being said, his potential is limitless. He's, like I said, he's just very brand new to the whole idea of actual bodybuilding. Everybody knows New York Pro is no joke. Like, if you couldn't jump in the New York Pro as your pro debut, I mean, that's a really ballsy move to do. And you went against some of the best guys, and every guy that beat you was on the Olympia stage.
Yeah. And
not only that, I mean, they're big names. And then coming in, taking 4th place at the New York Pro, that solidified that he was somebody, a force to be reckoned with. And I took over his prep about 8 months ago. I had every intention of making him great, and he proved that himself, that he was worthy of greatness by placing so well in his pro debut.
I don't even think I told you the reason why I picked New York for my Classic debut, and the reason why I picked Arnold this year.
Because you don't want nothing but the best.
I asked him about it. I asked Breon, if he was doing, I was like, he won this show the previous year. I thought he was defending his title. So I was like, I want to do that show because I need to see how do I measure up against the best.
It's right in front of Rickey's nose right now for him. He's about to do the biggest show of his life in 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks now, facing some of the biggest names in the industry. This is an international show that everybody's be watching. Everybody in the world that follows bodybuilding pays attention to the Arnold Classic. This is the biggest stage he's ever stepped on. And he's prepared very hard for it. He's put his heart and soul into this prep.
I remember he hit me up afterwards, and he was like, he realized his potential right away after that show, after jumping in something that big. And I was excited for him when I found out he did that, because I don't know if I actually followed you into that show. I didn't know if you were doing it. I think it was kind of after the fact I found out. And that's when I saw the picture. I was like, damn, that was the right decision. And that's when we started working together almost, 9 months ago.
For him to come out here, and this is really the first time we've had any personal time together. I've seen him in passing at shows, and we talked on the phone, done FaceTime calls, but I've never been with him for an extended period of time where we've actually got to know each other a lot better. And, I can see his potential. I can see his hunger, his desire, his willingness to work hard and follow instruction.
You called me, and I was talking to you about some things, and you were laughing. You're like, man, you know what? You said you should let me coach you. You started laughing. And I mean, it actually took off from there.
He's somebody that's very, very hard to beat. And if anybody is slightly off, Rickey can definitely take it. So, his best against the other guy's best is going to be very interesting to see. Very interesting. But if one of those guys comes off and Rickey comes on, it's going to be his show.
I know what it takes to win Olympias. I've done it. And it's doable. It's doable. So it's just about how hard you're going to work and how much you're going to put into it, how much you want it. The time that I was on top, it was just a pure desire of just, no one's going to touch me. No one. And you have to go in that mentality when you're training, It's next level. When you get in there, it's a different mentality that nobody else can have, because you are the best. You got to take it to that next level. When I'm in the gym, I'm in my own, especially when I'm on prep. I'm leading up. I'm becoming a whole different animal. People see it. The people I train around. She sees it. She's filming it every step of the way. Mentality changes. A switch flips, and you got to flip that switch, and you got to approach each and every day leading up. This is a fight. You're going into it like a fight. And there ain't no losing. So, this was, you got 3.5 weeks, man. You're gonna shock the world. You're gonna show the world who Rickey Moten is. You're going against some top guys, and let's earn our place in this industry.
You have to really contemplate on whether or not you want to do this, because it's not easy at all. It's not easy. And I know a lot of people will tell you about the glamour and the glitz of it. You see the people on stage, and they're in the best shape of their lives and everything like that. And that's all that you see, the photo shoots, the magazine covers, but no one really gets down and talks about the tough part, the mental aspect, not even the physical, but the mental aspect.
Nice. Good.
Thinking too much.
Yeah. It's right around the corner from him. I just gave him the ideas and let him put things into perspective and understand that their capabilities are far more than what they're limited to as a bodybuilder. Bodybuilding has taught myself a lot. It's taught all of us a lot. And you got to be able to apply the things that you've learned from bodybuilding to everyday life to become really successful. Because I tell you what, bodybuilding is one of the hardest sports on the planet, if not the hardest sport. It requires the most self-discipline, and there's the most temptation leading around it. It requires the most sacrifice.
Your carbs are low. You're really not eating that much. So you go to bed, and you're still hungry, but you know that you can't eat anything else.
Rickey, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Chilling.
What's on your mind right now?
Food. The man or woman that you're competing against, they're going through the same thing. And if you take that extra meal, oh, I can just eat this, it's not gonna hurt. They're not gonna do it, and then they're gonna be one step ahead of you.
Business. You know, I don't feel any bodybuilder is incapable. Being a bodybuilder is tough. You have to be smart, you have to be on top of your game, you gotta be able to hold yourself to a schedule. And those are a lot of key ingredients to being successful in life. To be successful in life as a bodybuilder, you have to be well diverse and not just be a gym rat and live in the gym. You got to be able to create value for yourself, and you know that's how we're going to become successful in fitness. And it's nice to see them hungry and leaving here with an idea and something to go home to work towards.
Just being able to train with JB one-on-one.
4, 3, 2, 1. Trying to get that volume in there. Sit out for the last breath.
It's hard, but the work got to get done.
I feel that.
Getting posing tips from Danny Hester.
It's good. It made a big difference when you brought it back this way more. People think it's bringing it back that way, but if you bring it back too much that way, you flatten your chest out and you don't show any of your lats. Because lats are this way. You don't show lat spread like this. You hold it out like this for a lat spread.
Sure. He made some connections out here. He met a lot of the Team Buendia athletes that are now friends and followers of his that are going to be keeping in touch. It just brings a lot to the table. And I just feel that, you know, I'm just happy to be able to provide this value and resources to these guys because, you know, in this industry, it's really hard to have somebody lend out a helping hand that's genuine and real.
And then go into it. So you want to come back here and see what I would do? If I go here, you see how I'm not even flexing the bicep. I'm trying to bring it back. You see how that pops even when I'm doing it? Let alone now when I flex it and it's going back. You know what I mean? So at the same time, bring those back as much as you can for your peak. And then see what happens when you give them instead of here with the arm, here with the arm, because look now what they can see. The whole arm, the tricep. Yeah, rotate, yep, absolutely. Absolutely. You got great arms, man. Yeah. Twist the, yeah, there you go. Whoo! I mean, look at this dude's lats, man.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm definitely benefiting from these athletes as well. And that's mutual. So they're able to come here and they model my stuff, promote our gear, but you know, I hooked them up with full wardrobe, and you know, it's great to see these young athletes get that because it took a while for me to build up to that point of having these things, and I'm able to provide them and give them a little bit of a head start.
Obviously, I have to thank Jeremy for everything that he's done for me, continuing to do for me, because with him, the level that, you know, he was at when we met, he didn't have to help me at all.
I've been able to do well, and I'm very grateful and blessed. And I believe a blessing that's held within is a blessing that dies. So I want to just keep passing that along to these guys and hopefully help them to create an amazing life for themselves, doing what they love.
That's really what it's all about.